We're very lucky this afternoon to be able to talk to Ray Snowball, who was the Crook goalkeeper when Crook Football Club was really at the height of its powers in the late 1950s and the early 1960s. And we must say that Ray was not only a good goalkeeper, he was also a very good sportsman and wasn't involved in any silliness on the field, and he was a perfect role model for us youngsters at the time, and I think we all looked up to him as a bit of a hero, really.
That's good of you,
and we've just had a little bit of a talk here about how Ray came to join Crook, and it was after the Crook officials had seen him playing for Bishop Auckland, and Ray mentioned Fred Jarry, who was the custodian of the Crook goal for about 6 or 7 seasons before that, Ray.
Oh, he was a good goalkeeper, Fred.
And then Crook won the Amateur Cup 1954, Ray, and you were reserve, and I remember you saying at one time that one of the greatest experiences in your life was to walk out onto Wembley pitch when you were a young lad and reserve for that game. Would you like to?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, you know, every cricketer wants to play at Lord's.
Yes.
Every tennis player wants to play at Wimbledon.
Yes.
Rugby player at Twickenham. Well, every footballer wants to play at Wembley, doesn't
Yes,
he?
yes.
And to walk out. We visited Wembley on the Friday onto that pitch.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
To walk on the pitch and just stand on and as you take your foot away, watch the grass coming up again. It was like a bowling.
Was it?
It was beautiful. I thought it was, and the ball came off quite quickly, and of course, never thinking I'll ever get the chance to play there. So that was a thrill. That just standing next to the goalpost and looking around the place.
Smashing.
Oh, it was magnificent.
If we go on, Ray, I've just got a little note here of December the 11th, 1954, was Brentford 4, Crook Town 1, FA Cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
We played and the ground was icy. Bone hard icy and difficult to keep your feet. And Brentford scored 2 in the first 3 or 4 minutes. And we lost 4-2, and we did have a player sent off as well. That didn't help. But the beginning of the match.
Oh, was it Armstrong?
Yes.
Armstrong?
Yes. At the beginning of the match, there were 2 goals in about 3 or 4 minutes, and you're sliding all over the place, wondering what's going to happen here.
It wouldn't have been played today, maybe.
Possibly not. But one year, I think it was '64, we drew in every round up the semi-final. And the first round was Stanley at home. We struggled to get the draw. We played them at Stanley the next week. And the ground was white with frost.
It was. Everything, everywhere was white.
And George Wardle came with our coach, came with a boot full of basketball boots. Which the players put on. And our players were skating all over, while poor Stanley lads were slithering and sliding. We were 4-0 up at half time.
That's right.
And we won 5-1. Now, when we drew every round after that and won the replay, now, we could have lost the first round. We won the cup that year. And even in the final, they lost. Enfield lost their goalkeeper with a broken finger. He came centre forward. I think to try and ruffle me a little bit. And so you could probably say our name was on the cup that year. You know, that's little things between success and failure. 2 players who I think were good for Northern League, and that was Bob Hardesty and Seamus O'Connell. Because Bob was a real gent, so you couldn't never think anything wrong about him coming as coach. He was a good person to have.
Was he?
I thought the world of Bob Hardesty and Seamus, of course. I don't think he ever fulfilled his true potential.
No.
You know what you think someone who played for Chelsea when they won the first division, the equivalent of the Premier League, he was playing for them as an amateur, and then he's playing for Bishop Auckland Crook. He was an exceptional player, was Seamus. I think one of the best amateurs.
I mean, if you look at that forward line, Ray, that Crook had that season, I mean, you have mentioned Seamus O'Connell. You've got Coates, O'Connell, Keaton, Tracy, Macmillan. I would imagine most sides in the country, apart from, say, Man United, Liverpool, would have loved to have had that forward line. What would you say?
Brilliant, very good forward line. Brian Keating, a big, strong centre forward, scored a great goal at Wembley, up in the air. And of course, Seamus created the chances. and Jimmy played for years, 4 amateur cup medals, Jimmy Macmillan, you know. So without a doubt, a very, very strong side. I don't know whether I would have liked to have faced very often.
Good. You know? So I mean, if we look back at the pre George Wardle area, I would say that was possibly really one of the best sides.
I would say it's one of the best Crook sides I've played. 1959.
Yes, a good strong side. Yes,
yeah.
So Ray, we're going on now to we've got George Wardle firmly entrenched as coach, and we win the Amateur Cup in 1962, which was a great occasion for South West Durham because there was 3 clubs from South West Durham in the semi-finals that year. Bishop were playing Hounslow, and Crook were playing West Auckland. We as supporters weren't really looking forward to the game. We thought we would have a tough game. Yet it was quite comfortable, 2-0. 2-0. So if we go to that final, Ray, 1962.
Go on then, one of my dreaded days, go on.
We've got Hounslow.
And
we've got Hounslow, and we didn't play very well.
No, we didn't.
All of a sudden, Jimmy got the ball on the far left, and sent the ball in. It came over where it was a cross or a shot, we will never know, but it went in off the far post, and we 1-0 up rather luckily. And then 10 minutes, quarter of an hour later, a controversial goal by Hounslow, we all thought. Would you like to talk us through that?
Well, with pleasure. Jack Taylor was the referee.
That's right,
the ball, it was a corner kick, and it was from the edge of the penalty area. It was headed in, and it was a loopy one, which I jumped up and caught, and as I caught it, I pulled it in the ear, and I heard one of the lads say, "Watch him, Ray," and I realised there was somebody hurtling in here and had the ball here, and I turned away from him, and he feet off the ground, he whacked me in the arm, the ball went in the goal, and Jack Taylor gave a goal. Could not believe that. And somebody said subsequently they'd either read it in the book or they've got a story that Jack Taylor being interviewed about his refereeing. So one of the mistakes that he made was in the Amateur Cup final at Wembley. Really. So, but anyway, we drew that game. So I remember that this shouldn't have gone in.
No.
We should have won that game 1-0. I mean, I've got the ball here. There's no problem. And as I turned, it was right on the arm. It didn't. It wasn't even shoulder to shoulder. And he just leapt in the air. And then we beat them comfortably at Ayresome Park in the replay.
So if we look back, Ray, I mean, really, from starting there in 1954 reserve. You would never ever think that you would play in 3 FA Amateur Cup finals. Played Wembley 3 times, which is a dream for nearly every footballer. And you had a smashing career at Crook. I mean, us youngsters, we used to think Ray Snowball was great. I still do. I mean, I know I have a little autograph book at home. It's only about that big, that wide, but yours was the first autograph to go in.
Oh, well,
1958.
So,
Yes, I remember it, and I still have it. I still look through all the names and that. I was just wondering, maybe just to finish off this interview, you know, if there was one particular game, you know, that you played in, and where you thought everything went right for you and for Crook, you know, and what would it be? Maybe it's the biggest thrill of all.
Oh, well. The biggest thrill was going on to Wembley the first time in 1954, but the game when things I think went right for me, I mean I may have done the odd thing wrong, was the 1959 final. I actually didn't have a bad game that day, whereas the other 2 finals, there were 2, one was the Hounslow where the ball was charged in, and the other was Enfield where the ball was coming, I don't even remember it. The ball was coming from the right, and it was hit, and as I was going out to try and cover it, it ricocheted off somebody in that way, and I was going this way and trying to get the ball out, and ended up on my back with my feet in the air and the ball in the goal. So I remember those 2 things as not good, but certainly the 59 things seemed to go quite well, and of course it's the first time you've in the winnings to play in the winning side, so it's got to be quite a highlight.
Yes.